resort in Los Angeles. I don't know. Yeah, man, Ruben Dias, good shout. You told me about him. I've been watching a few highlights from Manchester City, and it does look like a very good defender, which is one thing that sometimes the Premier League is lacking, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think there's many decent defences in the Premier League. We'll come on to that. But Manchester City had a very impressive performance against Aston Villa. It was 0-0 up until like the 78th minute, and it was honestly one of the best 0-0s I've ever seen. It was like end-to-end. How nobody scored is beyond me. Man City had 4-5 go along the line, like cleared off the line. Aston Villa made some really good chances. John McGinn and Grealish in midfield were unbelievable. But Manchester City took the lead through Bernardo Silva. Now, this goal is very controversial because now I don't understand the rules of football anymore. So,
tell us more about it.
Rodri...
Who does at the end of the day? Like honestly, sometimes I see a penalty and I'm like, nah, really? I thought the rule was different. I don't know. Every week challenges our knowledge on football rules, really.
This offside rule, it just needs just start from the beginning. So Rodri is in an offside position, okay? He's behind the defenders. Mings has the ball. Rodri puts pressure on Mings from behind. He tries to get rid of the ball, who then passes it to Bernardo Silva for Bernardo Silva to score, right? Now, obviously, Rodri is offside. He interferes in play. He basically sets up the goal from an offside position, basically. Obviously, the Aston Villa manager went mental and had one of the best lines I've ever heard. Apparently, he turned around to the fourth official and asked him, "Did you get juggling balls for Christmas?" Which I think is an absolutely fantastic insult. He then got sent off after a lot of arguing. And then the game kind of went after that. Man City scored another through Gundogan, who now has found really good goal-scoring form. He's had a few in the last couple of games, and Man City are starting to get that rampage. But weirdly, that was Bernardo Silva's first goal of the season. Can you believe that?
Yeah, I feel like he's one of those players that maybe doesn't score goals, but without him, the team would look completely different. I feel like, okay, I just came up with this term. I've been listening to a lot of music recently. I feel like players like Bernardo Silva, they're a bit like the bass in the song.
Okay.
Like, you don't always notice it, but if they remove it from the song, you'll be like, what is this bullshit? You know, like,
he's one of those players. There's something missing. I can't quite place it.
Yeah, he's one of those players that does a lot of dirty work for the rest of the team, and he might not score for a while, but he's always there, and he's really paramount for the efficiency of the team itself.
I think for the past 2 seasons, he's been one of the best, like, or most entertaining players to watch in the Premier League. And I was kind of disappointed that he wasn't doing well this year. But anyway, he scored a key goal, and that put them top. But before that game, we had another team at the top, and that was Leicester City.
The mighty Foxes.
And honestly, they're sly, they're cunning, and they could be taking that. They could be heading for the league title.
I loved Rory's message. I wasn't following football that night, and then Rory texts me and he's like, we got to talk about Leicester. And I'm like, everybody hold up. I got to see what's going on. Halftime, Leicester 2, Chelsea 0. I was like, are they back? Are they going to do it again or not?
Honestly, I thought this game was so interesting because we had, for example, there was a few matchups where you're like, okay, so you've got Ben Chilwell going back to Leicester. Okay, he was Chelsea's one of their marquee signings. He had a less than impressive night, whereas their replacement for him, James Justin and Timothy Chestnuts, had an unbelievable game and tore Chelsea to pieces. Timothy Chestnut. Castagna, for people who haven't been listening since the first episode, maybe. And they had a field day. And alongside that, we had... Now, at the moment, with the England national team, there's a bit of a debate of which of our talented young midfielders or attacking midfielders should be playing for England. And this was Mount versus Maddison. Now, James Maddison has been a player that I've kind of wanted at Arsenal for a while. I think if I could say to Arteta to sign one attacking midfielder this season, it would be between Maddison and Grealish. I really rate Maddison. This game, his through balls were incredible. His passing, he scored a goal. He absolutely ran the game, and he's the perfect link between midfield and attack. And this is what Chelsea were missing. Now, Mount is a very good player. He is a very good player, and he's going to have a great future. But the big thing that stood out for me was the stark contrast of a player who knew the system he was playing in and a player who didn't know the system he was playing in.
Yeah.
And I think Leicester now, if there's anything about Leicester that we notice, that they have continuity. They constantly replace players with better players, and they all play the same system. So it feels like there's this, regardless of who the manager is, really, they played the same footballer under Ranieri. Like, it's the whole thing is set up about continuity, and you couldn't have more of an opposite in Chelsea, where everything changes 2 to 3 years, the squad changes 2 to 3 years, the manager, and a transfer policy that seemingly just throw money at the problem and see, hopefully it'll fix itself. And I think this really stood out in this game. But Leicester are, like, some of the players in that team. Fofana has come in and just instantly been, one of the top 10 centre-backs in the league. It's incredible.
Yeah, what I love about Leicester is that after they won that incredible title, I mean, people were like, right, then what? Are you going to disappear? No, the thing that I found very impressive is that they studied the system. They studied the system to stay up consistently. And I think they just should be praised about the business that they've been doing. And James Maddison, oh my God. I did catch that second half of Leicester-Chelsea. He feels, and we'll talk about it in detail later, but it kind of feels like Barella at Inter, like when the team are building up the play, they always look for Maddison to sort of be like, all right. Yeah. And when Maddison gets the ball, you instantly start seeing the movement of the forwards, of the people by his side, like he dictates, he's the metronome he's the offensive metronome of the team. What a good player.
Yeah,
Him and Grealish, England have got some good talent coming up.
We've got some very exciting youngsters coming through, and it is good to see. Now, after that, our third table leader of the week is Manchester United. They're currently on top after beating Fulham 2-1 last night. And the match winner again, do you want to take a guess as to who it was, Tommy?
Was it...
the man who gets blamed for everything?
Pogba?
It was Pogba yet again. Since his agent came out and said, we're leaving, his form has been unbelievable. He scored a great goal last night to seal the win for Manchester United. They went 1-0 down. And United have this feeling of inevitability again. I don't know. It's almost like they need to go 1-0 down to win. Like, once they concede a goal, they kind of wake up, switch on and go, okay, now we're going to score. But
a feeling of inevitability that has been missing for quite some time. Manchester United have been bad, to say the least, for the past 5-6 seasons, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think they've kind of flattered to deceive a lot, and it's kind of like very inconsistent. And it's weird to see, because Solskjaer has been going on about this kind of reminiscing about Ferguson and trying to bring back the Ferguson days and stuff, and he's kind of weirdly doing it. And it seems to be working. There seems to be great atmosphere around the squad. I think someone must have talked to Pogba, and now he knows that he's got that starting spot and that's the role he has to play, that they're finally getting a tune out of him. It could just be him playing for a big move, I don't know, but I'm sure United fans are enjoying it regardless.
I think I'm going to go against like popular opinion that regards Pogba as a sort of like a dumb dude. I think that Pogba is actually a very smart guy. And I don't think that he would like to leave Man U leaving this legacy behind. I think that he wants to leave Man U and people will be like, oh my God, he put us through so much controversy. But do you remember that season, the last season that he was in Man U? I think that is really driven by this idea. Because otherwise, I wouldn't explain how ever since Mino Raiola talked about his upcoming transfer, he's improved so much.
It has been a crazy upturn in form. But we had a question about this from Jack, who was a guest, a friend of the show, from Jack from @Gooners News. And he asked, are Man United a good team, or are they just being carried by individuals? I think they're closer to being carried by individuals than being a good team. I think their defense is still pretty terrible, and they depend on the fact that they've got a very good attack. But they've got a very good attack, so it doesn't really matter. I think the only problem is when they come up against bigger teams, they might struggle a bit more. I don't know if they've got the lasting power. And I've said it before, I don't think Ollie is actually a good coach. I think he's got a good squad, but I think there are coaches out there with this squad that could do a much better job. I hope that answers the question, maybe.
Yeah. By the way, just random fact. The other day I saw a picture on Instagram of a back in the day training session at Manchester United. There are people like Beckham and stuff, and Ole is there. And oh my God, he looks so young. Even if he wasn't, he looks like really the son of one of Manchester United players that just like snuck into training to play with them. It's ridiculous.
Mate, the baby-faced assassin. He is timeless, ageless. He looked about 13 his entire career.
And he's immortal, apparently, as Manchester United manager. Like, nothing can take him down.
He's got like 18 lives. I don't know. 19, I don't know. I don't know how many chances he's had at this point. But this squad keeps saving him, right? The squad keeps saving him, and he seems to be making moves. They're still top, and as long as they're still top, nobody's going to argue, are they?
So who? All right, I know we're pretty bad at predictions, Rory.
Let's
really just face it. So of these teams up top, we've got Man U, we've got Man City, we've got Leicester. Just who do you think has got it to snatch it? Like number one, you said Man City, but then like Leicester or Man U, who do you think are more in form at the moment?
Well, this is the thing. I think at the moment, you would have to say Manchester United are more in form. Now, Leicester were pushing at the top of the table for quite a while last year as well, but they really fell away. And I think this is where we could see, like, can Brendan Rodgers get the team to continue this run, continue this form into the second half of the season? And I think they could genuinely be contenders. People have written them off before, and they showed a lot of people up, right? So I don't see why they couldn't do it again. But like I said, Man City, I think now are hitting that rampage mode where they're kind of finding fourth gear, fifth gear.
And I don't know that much about Brendan Rodgers, probably not as much as you do, but that Istanbul thing was a little too much, I think, for a man that had done so well for a team. And I would be well happy for him if he could get the trophy with a much smaller name than Liverpool. I think it would be great for him. I don't know, I got a liking for the guy. He seems like a nice person.
I would love to see Brendan Rodgers lift a Premier League trophy because he's a bit David Brent and he's a bit cringe and he's a very good coach and he's done well everywhere he's gone. Like that Liverpool team of his played fantastic football. They couldn't defend, but they played fantastic football. And I think he did a great job. Okay, the Scottish League, Christ, it's like a one horse until this year, now 2-horse race. So it wasn't a difficult job, but he still did very well. I don't think he lost a final. You know what I mean? He won everything he could. So he's done well everywhere he's gone. And I think Leicester have got a very good coach there. And if he's there for a long-term project, I'm certain he will win things with that club.
Good luck, Foxes. That's the team for me as an external. Like, I don't support any team in England, but when Leicester did that thing, fun fact, I wrote a master thesis at university about Leicester City season. So I got a liking for the Foxes. I love their colors. I think I would be very happy if they lifted yet another Premier League trophy. History, right? 2 in the space of like 5 years. Changing history not once but twice. Good luck, Foxes.
And with Jamie Vardy, you never know. They've always got a chance. So I think this is the Premier League. We're done in England. I can't think about the Premier League anymore. We've got another game tonight. We've got Liverpool playing, and I've got to keep on top of that. So, Tommy, I'm going to let you take over with Serie A. Where are we standing?
All right. We start from the big news. Finally, after 4 wins in 20 games and the point per game average of 0.95, Gianpaolo is finally out of the Torino job. Honestly, we didn't know whether this moment was ever going to come or not. It did come. The Torino president said it was a failure from all points of view. He didn't blame Gianpaolo. It was really everybody's fault. He's out. And guess what? There was actually a rumor that it's been shut down by Boniek, the head of the Polish FA, that Gianpaolo might be becoming Poland's next coach.
No, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Dude, Gianpaolo coaching Lewandowski, that would be a fucking insult to
Where's that come from? Where's that come from?
I have no idea. I don't want to know. All I know is that after this news leaked, Boniek was super quick in saying, that's bullshit. That's not going to happen. Gianpaolo, we've never contacted him. Not going to happen.
Just got to give it a shout. The Boniek is from the same city that I lived in Poland, from Bydgoszcz. So a lot of time for Boniek. What a legend.
There you go. Then the other big news that we have is that Juventus win the Italian Super Cup. So for our American listeners, what is the Super Cup? The Super Cup is the game, the final, we could say,